Did Pope Francis really give an open door pass to priests to bless same-sex unions? The Dubia Cardinals seem to think so. Also, did you know that the Dubia Cardinals aren't the only Dubia Cardinals in town? Turns out the Czech bishops are also asking for clarity, this time on Amoris Laetitia and remarried and divorced going to communion. Cardinal Fernandez, or should I say, His Holiness, have responded. But is it more vagueness and ambiguity, or do we finally get clarity? We have that conversation with Dr. Helena Luzon from the European Conservative coming up next. By the way, my name is Joe McLean. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below. I think the one, though, that's catching a lot of attention this morning is on same-sex blessings in particular. And it would seem that if we go back and look at how Pope Francis responded, and some are arguing it was really Cardinal Fernandez that responded on behalf of the Pope. Some are arguing that today. But a lot of people are asking the question that if we read into the statement of how the Pope responded, he is basically opening the door for individual priests to say same-sex blessings if they want. Did you read the Pope's response, and did you feel that?
Yeah, I had the same feeling. And of course, the hypothesis, considering that Cardinal Fernandez is behind the answers to this dubia is quite certain to my mind. Indeed, I've read the answers from the Pope, and especially concerning this one about same-sex marriage blessings, but they are all built on the same way. The answers begin with a kind of reaffirmation of the magisterium. Well, that's true that the church has always said that. And then a second part, but. And everything is in this but. On the other hand, whatever you say. And in the second part of the question, the Pope or Cardinal Fernandez say, well, there is the magisterium, but there is pastoral demands that require some adaptations. And with this but, everything is possible. And each time, for each answer, it's built exactly in the same way. Of course, the eternal truth has not changed, but of course, the magisterium is that, but. And for sure, this but opens the door to all kind of arrangements possible. Because they consider that it can be an adaptation to circumstances, to a very strong desire of a people, a need of love, charity, whatever. But with this but, everything can be accepted.
I found that especially true on the question of female ordination, because the Cardinals, I would argue very wisely, just used, like Vatican II documents or JP2 documents in order to make their arguments so they can't be accused of being radical traditionalists, I suppose. But nonetheless, they use JP2 to really argue for priesthood is for, the sacramental priesthood is for men, baptized men only. And even though it seems like Pope Francis, through Cardinal Fernandez, said, yes, you're right, it's a settled argument, but that doesn't mean we can't still contemplate the possibilities. To sort of as a follow-up to what you just said, they really do try to keep as much option and the door open for them to experiment as possible, which I guess is probably what led these cardinals to say, let me ask this question again. This time, please just say yes or no.
Yeah, and there are lots of formulas in the answers saying there is nothing that is definitely fixed. We can change our mind. We must remain open. There is no dogma, etc. We could make almost a text analysis by quoting all those expressions, which are very relevant of the state of mind. They do not say, oh, yes, it's going to be that. Yes, we are going to have women, priests, etc. But it clearly says, practically, it would be possible, and perhaps there's going to have a change. And that's why it's not considered to be satisfying by the cardinals, because it's not a yes or a no. It's almost a yes, but it's not a yes. And in a way, it's a way of answering yes by the Pope. If he doesn't want to go out of the wood and to say clearly things, it gives enough elements for us to understand what is his will. And another clue, for example, in the answer to question 4, is the reference to the Anglican Communion. Of course, it's on a different matter, but as an example, we are speaking about the question of validity of ordination in the Anglican Communion. So if we are inspired by what is happening in the Anglican Church, well, everything is possible, of course.
So we're running out of time here with Dr. Luzon. We're talking about the Dubia, but we're in the middle of a fundraiser too, so we definitely need your financial contribution towards our goal this hour at 877-711-8500 is that phone number, 877-711-8500. I'm going to be linking to her article over at the European Conservative today, as well as another article that came out. There was yet another Dubia that we didn't know about. Cardinal Duca sent a Dubia in on divorce and remarried, which Cardinal Fernandez was happy to weigh in on. And let me just ask you this as we run out of time with you, Dr. Luzon. So Cardinal Fernandez seemed to be incredibly critical of these 5 cardinals daring to ask yet again the same questions after they had received a response, not happy with that response, calling them, basically accusing them of making a slave out of the Pope. How do you see that? Do you think it's appropriate for these cardinals to continue to press for clarity and sort of definitive answers?
Well, there is a process, a canon process fixed by the canon law, which is supposed to have, just a yes or no question, a yes or no answer, sorry. And things are getting more complex because this usual process, has not been respected. So it's a kind of a joke to say that the cardinals are taking the Pope as a slave, because if the regular process had been respected, it was an affair of 5 minutes. Yes, no, that's all. And the controversy wouldn't be so hard. So there is a kind of paradox, of course, in the attitude of Fernandez, because he accuses the cardinals of a situation that he has, in a way, created himself.
Yeah, I mean, clarity is something that should be akin to a good father providing clarity to his family. And when his family's asking for that clarity and he tells them to shut up and sit down, this is not an appropriate response. So I am certainly in favor of these cardinals asking for these questions and wanting very distinct clarity instead of ambiguity. But ambiguities always seem to get any more out of the Vatican. The European Conservative, I encourage you to check it out, europeanconservative.com. Great outlet. I read their articles all the time. Dr. Luzon, God bless you. God love you.
Thank you.